I'm Jaworski Dill. I'm your moderator for tonight's forum, and I'd like to welcome you to the Greater Iberia Chamber of Commerce Political Forum for candidates seeking the district judgeship of the 16th Judicial District Court, ES1 Division H and ES2 Division F. The 16th Judicial District of Louisiana is comprised of the parishes of Iberia, St. Mary, and St. Martin. The courthouses of the district are located in the three parish seats, New Iberia, Franklin, and St. Martinville. The caseload of the entire district is handled by 8 elected judges and 3 non-support hearing officers who are appointed by the judges. Sponsors. Tonight's forum is sponsored by the Greater Iberia Chamber of Commerce, Iberia Comprehensive Community Health Center, and Leadership Iberia, of which I am a member of the current class, Class 22. Tonight's program is purely informational. Neither the Chamber, Iberia Comprehensive Community Health Center, nor the Leadership Iberia program endorses any particular candidate running for office. There are a few announcements before we begin this evening's program. Our sponsors wish to remain that the deadline to register to vote in person or by mail is October 5th. The deadline to register to vote through the Go Vote Online registration system is October 13th. Early voting is October 16th through 27th, excluding Sunday, October 25th, from 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. And election day is Tuesday, November 3rd. All forms will be posted to the Chamber's website at www.iberiachamber.org. At this time, I would like to introduce the candidates who are present. All candidates in this race were invited to participate. Those in attendance tonight are ES1 Division H, Ms. Alecia Butler, Mr. Roger P. Hamilton Jr., Mr. Tyler Todd Porter Green, ES2 Division F, Ms. Natalie Brossard, Mr. Anthony Tony Salmi, and Mr. Keith Thibodeaux. Because judges are restricted to the kinds of information on which they can make public comment, this portion of this evening's program would be an opportunity for the candidates for a district judge to tell us about themselves, why they are seeking this office, their qualifications, and what makes them the best candidate for the position, and if they believe that individuals holding judgeship should be held to a higher standard of conduct. Prior to the beginning of the forum tonight, we drew numbers to determine the order in which the candidates will speak. Each candidate shall have a maximum of 8 minutes to introduce themselves to you and share their credentials. Candidates, when you have a 30-second left, our timers will indicate that the time with a yellow card. At this point, you must wrap up your comments. When you see the red card, you must stop. We will hear from candidates for ES1 Division H first. Mr. Roger.
Thank you. Good evening. I wanted to thank the Greater Iberia Chamber of Commerce and everyone here for taking the time to care about our community, to care about who serves in elective office in our community, and to care about having a fair and independent judge sitting in this seat. Several years ago, I participated in Leadership Iberia. It was and still is a great program to develop leaders. It is a program that teaches about the important aspects of the parish in this region. I'm glad to have been a part of a Leadership Iberia, and I'll be proud to put that knowledge to work as our next judge in Division H. On November 3rd, voters in Iberia, St. Martin, and St. Mary parishes will make an important decision insofar as who will be elected to serve as a new judge in Division H. Even if you do not live in Division H, but you live in these parishes, this seat may impact you. Every judge in the 16th Judicial District can hear cases in any part of the district. That means the judge who fills this seat may hear a case in which you're involved. That is why it's important to elect the best qualified candidate. And I submit to you tonight that I am the best qualified candidate. My father, the late Roger Hamilton Sr., was a longtime educator and administrator and retired as a supervisor of child welfare and attendance with Iberia Parish School Board. My mother, Carmen, is a retired secretary from the District Attorney's Office. I am proud of both my father and my mother. Public service. I am proud to be Roger Hamilton Jr. and follow in their footsteps. After graduating high school, I attended Nicholls State University and graduated cum laude in 1998. I then attended Louisiana State University Paul M. Hebert Law Center, graduating in 2001. After law school, I clerked for Judge Paul DeMaie, and so thereafter began a legal career. I am the only candidate that has almost 2 decades working as a prosecutor. For 18 years, I've worked 5 years in the 16th Judicial District and 13 years in the 15th Judicial District. As an assistant district attorney, I've tried over 30 felony jury trials, along with arguing at the Louisiana Third Circuit Court of Appeals and the Louisiana Supreme Court. I also have a civil practice, successful small business, where I've handled personal injury cases, business litigation, successions, and family law. I am currently the city attorney for the city of Jeanerette and have served as a college professor at South Louisiana Community College and at Nicholls State University. I've always been involved in the community since very early on as a young 4-H'er here in Iberia Parish. I've embraced many roles throughout the years, including the past parish president of the Parish Council for St. Edward St. Jude Catholic Church, a former member of the Diocesan Pastoral Council, former president of the Nicholls State University Alumni Board, and currently I serve as the president of the Louisiana 4-H Foundation. But the most important position that I've played in the community is as a volunteer coach. As a coach, you have the opportunity to impact youth, which is important to our community. I am running for judge as our next judge because I feel I would be fair and independent judge. A judge who will be able to focus on the cases before him without having to worry about outside distractions. Because a judge should be independent from partisan politics. I would also be a judge that would be accessible to the community, allowing community input and dialogue. I also believe as a judge, you have to listen to both sides of an argument before you make a decision. And that's what I would do as your judge. My name is Roger Hamilton, and I am from the community and will be a judge that is for the community. I ask that you vote 73 Roger Hamilton on November 3rd. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roger. Ms. Ty.
Good evening. My name is Thailand Porter Green, and I am elated to have this opportunity to speak to you, the voters of the 16th Judicial District Court. I would be remiss if I didn't pause to thank the Chamber of Commerce and the other host of this evening for affording us this opportunity. I want you to know that I am married for 27 years to Eric Green, and we are the parents of 3 young adults. Amina, who's a filmmaker in Harlem, New York. Eric Jr., who is a grocery manager at Super One Foods here in New Iberia. And our youngest, Lindsay Danielle, is a student at Paul Mitchell, the school in San Antonio. We are active parishioners at St. Edward St. Jude, where I, through the years, have held numerous leadership roles, from being chair of the Finance Council to being a lector. My children and my husband have also been servants in the place where we worship and are proud to call St. Edward our family. As a professional, I've been an attorney for 26 years. I started my career in the firm of Simmons, Pittman & LeGros in Jeanerette, Louisiana. There, the community members of Jeanerette welcomed me, my husband, and our 10-month-old daughter, where I engaged in a general civil practice. I handled all things from personal injury accidents to family law to successions and wills, and even some criminal cases when called on. From there, I had the opportunity to extend my practice and join as a staff attorney the Public Defender's Office. There, I defended young people accused of crimes or school-related offenses, and I also defended adults who were accused of misdemeanor grade offenses, being a member of family in need of service, or when their children were in foster care and considered children in need of care. After a few years, I then moved on to the district attorney's office and became an assistant DA in St. Martin Parish. There, I was responsible for the juvenile division. And under that department, I prosecuted all cases related to juveniles, from child in need of care to family in need of services. I prosecuted child support cases. I was the volunteer ADA for the juvenile drug court when it moved from Breaux Bridge to district court in St. Martin Parish. I also prosecuted sex offense cases when the victims were juveniles. So all things related to juveniles were under my auspices for the 10 years that I was a member of that office. Finally, for the last 4 years, I have been an attorney consultant with the Court Improvement Program. There I work hand in hand with stakeholders within the child welfare system, with the Public Defender's Office, with the LDAA, and all matters related to child welfare. I'm very proud of the work that we're doing with child welfare because it deals with system reform. Because we believe if our children and our families fare well, then our communities thrive. And so it's the sum total of my professional experience as well as my life experience, I believe, that makes me uniquely prepared for this time. What makes me unique is the fact that I'm able to openly speak about the fact that there is a distrust that the community has for the justice system. It's something that I'm mindful of as a constituent and a member of this community, but also as an attorney and a practitioner in that same system. And so having said that, I want you all to know that if you elect me as the next judge of Division H, you will elect an empathetic and compassionate jurist, someone that sees you, someone that hears you, and someone that understands that there are times when you are called on into court and you have to navigate a system that you're unfamiliar with. You have to navigate a system where it's difficult to get answers to questions. I am that jurist that understands that, and I will work very tirelessly to make sure that when you come to court, that there is no difference made based upon the litigant's station in life. There's no difference made based upon if you are represented by an attorney or if you're self-represented. There's no difference made no matter what your history is that brings you to court. You will be judged based upon the rule of law and the even-handed application of it. I also want you to know that I believe, particularly as it appeals to our young people, that our community must be a part of the solutions that plague our youth. And I, as a jurist, will use my judicial authority and relationships to make sure that we are able to, as a community, work together to solve the issues that plague our young people that present themselves to court. I believe that too often the courts are left to deal with those issues, and instead of rehabilitate, all they're left to do is render a judgment. I'm counting on the community to be a part of those solutions. Division H has, for me, always been the seat that held a public servant. First in the late Judge Carl Williams, and most recently in retired Judge Lori Landry. I would invite all of you to visit my website and look to see the breadth of community activities that I have been a part of. And you will find the true community servant that presents herself to you very humbly as the candidate for Division H. My number is 74 on your ballot, and I do ask for your consideration and hopefully your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ty. Ms. Alecia.
Good evening. Thank you, the Chamber of Commerce, and all of the sponsors who have put on this event. I, like my other colleagues, basically want the public to know and see exactly what each one of us represent, because you have the duty to know. And that is why I'm here. I present to you my resume because I'm asking for your employment as District Judge, Division H. My name is Alecia Johnson Butler. I am a mother of 2 children. My daughter, Gabrielle Butler, she just graduated and is attending college, Loyola. My son, David Butler, he is a student at McNeese University. I am the daughter of the late Albert Johnson Sr. He was employed at Weeks Island as a supervisor at the chemical mine. My mother is a retired school teacher, 30 plus years in the education system with Iberia Parish School Board. I myself started out my career after I graduated summa cum laude from Grambling State University as a federal correctional officer. During my tenure as a federal correctional officer, I had an opportunity to engage in law enforcement training and things of that sort. I then became a special education school teacher in Iberia Parish school system, helping behavior disordered children. It was during that time that I was the special education teacher that I met Judge Carl Williams. At the time, this particular seat that I'm vying for today, Judge Williams was campaigning for that seat. And he was basically giving me inspiration to follow my dream and become an attorney. I took his advice, applied to Southern University Law Center, and was accepted. Upon my acceptance, I graduated from Southern University Law Center, and he gave me a job after he won this district seat as his law clerk. I had the opportunity to serve as his law clerk during that time. After the clerkship ended, I hung up my shingle, Alecia Johnson Butler and Associates, practicing law, representing small businesses, personal injury cases, divorces, family law, class action lawsuits I've been involved in, and various civil and criminal defense work. In addition to that, I served as a public defender with the 16th Judicial District Court as a felony attorney. I, unlike my other colleagues, I've had no affiliation with the District Attorney's Office. I've never served as a prosecutor. However, I've had the opportunity to work with them on numerous cases and had numerous jury trials and have been certified as a capital punishment, capital attorney training with the Public Defender's Office. You might ask, why do I mention that? I believe that my experience in those various areas separate me from my opposing candidates here. It allows me to use my life experiences to render fair, equal, impartial justice that a judge should dispense in the courtroom. Politics are not involved in should not be involved in the judicial system. Basically, I am asking for your support in vying for this position because I know that I can do a good job, the best job. As far as public service is concerned, I've represented the Iberia Comprehensive Clinic. I'm a parishioner, as is Ms. Green, with the St. Edward St. Jude Catholic Church. I've been there all my life. Got baptized in St. Edward's Catholic Church. My parents reared me there, but for the most part, I've served as the liturgical dance chairperson in the church. I've served in the West End as the business revitalization project president. I've served on the PEPI board and numerous things. I'm always in the community doing things and helping others. And I believe it is my public service that would allow me to serve you in this position. I am here because I would like to further my public service, and that is being dedicated to the people. The people make the decision as to who should be the best person elected to this position. So I invite you to visit my website, www.votealecia4judge.com. We also have Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram logos. You can log in there. Vote number 72 on Election Day. Early voting is October the 16th through October the 27th. I encourage you to exercise your right to vote because that is your voice. You need to be heard. And as Mr. Hamilton indicated, the judge would hear all cases from all districts, from this particular district, not just the people who can vote for you. So it's very important that you analyze and do your research and ask about the people involved so that you can exercise your right to vote and put someone in office that will keep your interests at heart. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Ms. Alecia. And moving on to ES2 Division F, Mr. Tony.
Thank you. My name is Anthony Tony Salmi. I'm an attorney from Morgan City, Louisiana. I lived there with my wife of 18 years, Shelley Bourgeois Salmi, and our 4 children, Anthony, Sophia, Franco, and Stella, 17, 15, 13, and 9 years old, respectively. I'm a member of Holy Cross Catholic Church in Morgan City, where I serve as a lay minister. I'm also a member of several organizations in St. Mary Parish. The Franklin Rotary Club. I'm a board member of the Community Action Agency of St. Mary and Vermilion Parishes. I'm a third-degree knight in the Knights of Columbus, Council 1710 in Patterson. I'm a member of the National Rifle Association and Ducks Unlimited. I'm a graduate of Central Catholic High School of Morgan City in 1987. In 1991, I received my Bachelor of Science in Business Administration from what was then the University of Southwestern Louisiana. And in 1994, I received my Juris Doctor from the Loyola University of New Orleans College of Law. After graduating from law school and passing the bar exam, I worked as a law clerk with the 16th Judicial District Court Division C, the late Edward A. Delahousie III and Judge John E. Connery. After serving the one-year law clerkship, I went to work in a small civil practice in Morgan City, where I handled general civil cases, and I handled a variety of matters. In 1997, I had the opportunity to go work for the District Attorney's Office in St. Martin Parish, and even though it meant I'd be commuting over an hour each way, I jumped at the opportunity. I eventually moved there, and I worked in the St. Martin Parish District Attorney's Office for 7 years. In 2004, I was asked to relocate back to St. Mary Parish to our Franklin office. I've worked there for the last 16 years, and since 2013, I've been the Chief Prosecutor running the St. Mary Parish District Attorney's Office. I'm a candidate for 16th Judicial District Court Judge Division F, and I'm running because the 16th Judicial District needs a judge that's fair, honest, and knows what they're doing. In particular, the business community throughout the 16th Judicial District needs a judiciary that knows what they're doing, and they need it in order to thrive. In order to flourish, the business community needs several things. One, they need willing business people. We have that here in the 16th Judicial District. We have many good people who've laid it on the line in the fields of agriculture, oil and gas, manufacturing, retail, and any number of service businesses. You also need good law enforcement in order to investigate and solve crimes and to deter future crimes, to make our area conducive to current business operations and to be inviting for incoming businesses. We've recently, in the last 2 years, elected 3 new sheriffs in our district. And each one of those sheriffs elected had extensive law enforcement experience in their background. But they can't do it alone. They also need the help from the district attorney's office and the legal community, who need to stand by ready to assist our local businesses. In addition to competent local representation, we also need a district attorney's office that's prepared to prosecute cases in which businesses have been made victims, to advocate for those businesses' victims' rights, and to seek restitution for those businesses. And finally, the business community needs judges that are fair, honest, and capable in order to make rulings on business disputes and to hear criminal cases in which businesses are victimized. Too often, I've been in court and seen judges or the court either waive the restitution of a business or make no effort to enforce its collection. As I sit here today, I can tell you I'm the only candidate in my race who has worked with law enforcement on either criminal interdiction or in the investigation of crimes against business. I'm the only candidate in my race that has prosecuted crimes against businesses, advocated for those businesses' victims' rights, and sought restitution for those victims. And if elected as judge, I will make sure that businesses are treated fairly in court and that any restitution ordered is collected so that they can be made whole. You're going to hear a lot of different issues in this race. You'll hear talk about public service and being the people's judge. As for public service, as an assistant district attorney, I've served in public service for the past 23 years, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And insofar as being the people's judge, I've been the people's attorney for the past 23 years because unlike most attorneys, prosecutors don't represent one client. We represent the general public. And our duty is not to that one client and their interest. Our duty is to seek justice. So in that way, I've already been the people's attorney for 23 years. I'm asking for the opportunity to be the people's judge. I believe that the key issue in this race should be about experience. And so I'm asking you, the voters, to educate yourself about the candidates in this race. I ask you to visit my Facebook page, Committee to Elect Anthony Salmi, and my website, salimiforjudge.com, as well as those of my opponents. Compare our experience and our qualifications and vote for the most qualified candidate. I'd like to thank the Iberia Parish Chamber of Commerce for hosting this forum, to have the opportunity to hear from all the candidates. I believe it's important to educate yourself before going into the voting booth. My name is Anthony Tony Salmi. I'm a candidate for District Court Judge. I ask for your support, your consideration, and your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tony. Mr. Keith?
First off, I want to thank the Iberia Chamber of Commerce for presenting this particular forum this evening. Very important for the voting public of this district to be aware of not only the candidates who are seeking office, but also their platforms. And with that, I'd like to share with you my platform. I'm Keith Thibodeaux. I'm running for Judge of Division F here in the 16th Judicial District Court, which consists of the parishes of St. Martin, Iberia, and St. Mary. I am the proud father of 4 children, I am married to Bonnie Laprousse Thibodeaux, 37 years, a retired educator, a retired school teacher, a retired school supervisor. Bonnie and I have raised our children right here in this district. Most of my children work here in this district. We're also the proud grandparents of 2 beautiful grandchildren. I take you back to my graduation from high school. I graduated from St. Martinville Senior High School, and my best friend and I decided in our senior year, since we only had 2 credit hours yet to complete our degree program, that we would simultaneously obtain a certificate, a degree if you will, from our local trade school right here, the Iberia Parish School Board. Within that particular degree program, he and I were fortunate enough to obtain an electrician certificate, which allowed me to begin in my career as an electrician. Unfortunately, as we all know too well in these particular times, at that time, the industry, particularly the oil and gas industry, turned down, and to find a job was hard, if not impossible. My wife and I, while we were dating, always discussed one of the things that we thought was important, and that is, what do you think you would wish to do as far as an occupation for your life? What would you choose to be? I told her at that time, me, the little Johnny, I wanted to be a Louisiana State Trooper. She said, well, with all due respect, could you perhaps choose some other occupation in the legal field? I don't want to have that knock at 1 a.m. and I then learn I'm a widow and our children no longer have a father. Always in my mind, I kept that I wanted to one day serve my community in the legal field. Having again become unemployed as an electrician, I then went on to USL, now UL. I obtained a business degree and thereafter, right here in the district, particularly here in Iberia, worked not only for the Iberia Parish School Board as a purchasing agent, but for Delome Industries as an accountant. As life would be, again, we had a downturn not only in the oil and gas industry, but in the banking industry. Times were tough, and as I had always told my wife, one day I want to seek an opportunity in the legal field. Being very supportive, she said, now is the time. We agreed. We moved over to Baton Rouge. I obtained my law degree from LSU's Law Center, and thereafter clerked for the late Robert Buddy Fleming, right here in the 16th Judicial District Court. After my 1-year clerkship with Judge Fleming, he told me, why don't you go over back to St. Martinville? There is an attorney there, Bert Willis. He's been practicing for many, many years in the district. I think he would be willing to accept a young man such as yourself. He needs the help. Why don't you go over? Again, as life would be, I went over, interviewed with Mr. Willis. What impressed me most about Mr. Willis, a general practitioner, was his statement to me that if you come to work for us, like myself, like my brother, like our uncle, we all serve as attorneys. We do not close the door to any clients who deserve a fighting chance in court. We represent people of all stations of life, all walks of life. Here we are, fast forward 30 years later. For the past 30 years, I've helped clients in thousands of cases across all areas of the law. Criminal defense, any particular civil matter that you can think of, we've handled it. I've been with that grieving widow in the court, fighting for her rights in an estate succession of her deceased husband. I've been there with that mother, desperately clinging to her children, hoping that the unfortunate choices made by his or her spouse or partner will not affect their children, wanting to know that justice will be served for them. I've served the entire community, the agricultural industry, serving as their attorney in many of my clients, for many of my clients. I've also been fortunate enough to serve and continue to serve as the attorney for the St. Martin Parish Clerk of Court's Office, the St. Martin Parish Assessor's Office, as well as the water districts of St. Martin Parish. If there's one thing I've learned in my legal career, is that a person who is faced with a court appearance is going to be presented before a judge who stands between that person and justice. I understand, having fought for my clients diligently, honestly, compassionately, fairly. I understand, having put 30 years into helping people, that I wish to continue to do so. Unlike my opponents who do not have the breadth of legal knowledge that I have, I believe I can serve you, the people of this district, from day one. I am ready, I am prepared, and I wish your support in allowing me to be your district judge. As I have served the people of this community, I want to serve you as the people's judge. I humbly and respectfully request your support on November 3rd. Please vote number 77, Keith Thibodeaux. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Keith. Ms. Natalie?
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Natalie Brossard. I'd like to thank the Greater Iberia Chamber of Commerce, the Iberia Comprehensive Clinic, and Leadership Iberia for sponsoring this forum here tonight. I am glad to be here tonight to be able to give a little bit more information about myself and why I'm running for judge and why I think I'm the best candidate for Division F. I am the daughter of Henry Bernard Jr., who was a practicing attorney in New Iberia, who retired. I think he probably has been practicing for over 50 years, and the late George Ann Bernard. I'm a wife. I'm married to my high school sweetheart. We've been married for almost 30 years, Barry Brossard. I'm a mother. We have 4 children. My oldest son, Blade, is presently serving in the United States Navy. He is on leave right now, thankfully. He was able to be here for the birth of his son and my first grandchild, who's 2 weeks old now. So not only am I a wife, mother, but now I'm a grandmother. I have another daughter, Sarah, who is married to a United States sailor as well. They are stationed in Gulfport, Mississippi. I have a 7th grader who goes to Loreauville High School and is very glad to be back in school now. And then I have one angel, Mary Ellen, who's in heaven. Just to give you a little bit about my educational background, I graduated from New Iberia Senior High in 1987. After graduating from high school, I went to LSU and earned a Bachelor of Criminal Justice and graduated in 1991. Then I went to LSU Law School and earned my law degree and graduated in 1994. After earning my law degree, I came back to New Iberia, and I was fortunate enough that 2 local attorneys in town had some office space available and let me move into their office, and that was Mike Lepresto and Keith Como. And I've been there at that same office now for almost 26 years. When I came back to town and opened my own law practice, I started a general practice. I've done just about any case that there is to do. If it had merit, I took the case. I've handled all types of civil cases, from divorce to custody to support, successions, real estate, anything in the civil arena, I've handled it. I've also handled a wide variety of criminal cases. So I've handled trespassing, disturbing the peace, all the way up to first-degree murder trials. I've had extensive experience in the courtroom. The type of practice I've done, both civil and criminal, has brought me into the courtroom extensively. I've done many jury trials. I've done many judge trials. I've done thousands of hearings. I've handled thousands of cases between the civil and criminal law experience. And I think it's important that you not only look at the experience of the candidates, but you look at the type of experience of the candidates. Because as a judge, you don't have a learning curve. You jump right in and start making decisions. So I think it's important that you elect a judge that has experience in all aspects of the law. And I also think it's real easy to say that you're a public servant when you've done your job. What makes you really a public servant and committed to your community is when you go above and beyond your job and you go out and you volunteer and you give your time and your effort to your community. And I invite you to look at the history that I have and what I've done to serve my community as a volunteer. I've served on the United Way Board of Directors. I've served on CASA. I've served on CERT. I've been active with other nonprofits. I've been very active with my church, Highland Baptist Church, where I've served on the Board of Trustees, the School Board Committee. I've been on the Stewardship Committee. I've been a Sunday school teacher. So I've been very active in my community. And in the people that I've talked to, you've heard a lot about it's important for your judge to be fair and honest. And I agree that is very good qualities, and that's very important for our next judge to have those qualities. And I assure you, you can trust me that I'll be fair and I'll be honest. But it's also important that you have someone who's been dedicated to their community, has a well-rounded experience with all areas of the law, who's a proven servant. You know, after I opened my practice and I've done all my volunteer work, I saw that there was a problem, and I ran for Iberia Parish Council and became elected on Iberia Parish Council. I've served in many leadership roles on the council, and now I see that there's another problem, and that's when I'm experiencing politics in the courtroom. The people that I've talked to, they want a judge that's independent. They want someone who does not have those political pressures when they're making decisions. So, you know, I'm not worried about those political endorsements. I'm not worried about the powers that be or the good old boys or the support from them. I'm not even worried about a retired judge making endorsements for someone because they want their friends elected to the bench. I'm worried about the real people, the ones that are going to work every day trying to earn a living for their families. I'm worried about the moms. I'm worried about the dads. I'm worried about the husbands. I'm worried about the wives. I'm worried about our children. I'm worried about our businesses. So, you know, if you are like the people that I've been talking to, and that you want a judge that is fair and independent and not bound by those political pressures, you want a judge that's approachable and that is a reflection of the people that they serve. You want a judge that's been dedicated to their community and has been involved in their community. You want a judge that's committed to applying the laws fairly and evenly to all people. If you want a well-rounded judge with experience in all areas of the law, then I'm asking you to vote for me, Natalie Brossard, number 75. And please go to my website as well, Natalie for Judge. We're on the website, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, we're even on TikTok. So I'm asking for your vote, and I'm asking for your prayers, and I'm asking for your support. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Natalie. This concludes tonight's forum for District Judgeship of the 16th Judicial District Court, ES1 Division H and ES2 Division F. Candidates, thank you all. We certainly appreciate the time and effort put forth by the candidates here tonight and wish all the candidates well. We want to encourage all registered voters to exercise your right to vote in this upcoming election. The next forum up tonight begins at 6:20 for the New Iberia City Council Districts 2, 4, and 5. One more thing. If you have additional questions regarding your personal voting situation, contact the Registrars of Voters Office at 337-369-4407. The deadline for the 2020 census is fastly approaching. It's September 30th. If you have not already done so, please take the time to complete the census form at my2020census.gov. Having everyone in Iberia Parish counted is essential as it determines federal funding for all kinds of important services, such as public schools, roads, and emergency equipment. Each person who goes uncounted costs Louisiana roughly $2,291 in services. As of yesterday, only 60% of Iberia Parish population has responded. Once again, thank you to our sponsor, Iberia Comprehensive Community Health Center, for helping to make this informational event possible. Be sure to spread the word about the forum postings on the Chamber's website at iberiachamber.org. Candidates, please switch places.